If you aren't brining your birds and then putting compound butter under the skin, what are you doing? Before we get started with the video, we're getting dangerously close to 2,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you hadn't already. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Ken Johnson. Today we're going to try to prove that turkey makes for good barbecue. In a medium-sized pot, I've got 8 cups or half gallon of water, and I'll be adding 2 cups of salt. Alright, this is first cup of salt. Here's the second cup of salt. Now I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm going to throw in 4 bay leaves, an 1/8 cup of herbes de Provence, and 1/8 cup of dehydrated onion, minced onion. Okay, this will boil for about 3 minutes and I'll turn it off and let it rest. This right here is a 5-gallon bucket that I got from Harbor Freight. It is food safe. I'm going to fill it with 1.5 gallons of water and ice. There we go. Now we're going to add in our brine mixture. I'm cleaning out the pot with about 2 cups of water extra. Alright, we'll give this all a good stir. Alright. Here is our bird. Paid $18.13 before taxes for a 19-pound, 12-ounce bird. I'm going to get all this off and put it into the bucket. Alright, the frozen bird is in here. I'm going to put a plate on top of it with some cans and then put the lid on it. I know that there is a giblet bag in here, so once it thaws out a little bit, I'll remove the giblet bag. That way we can get some better penetration, but for right now, this bird is going to be quickly defrosting in this water. He's going to stay overnight. It will stay cool enough. They'll be fine. And then after we do that, we'll, if I need to add ice, I'll add ice to keep it safe and cool. And then we'll put it onto the smoker tomorrow. Time to make some compound butter. I've got 2 sticks of salted butter. Each stick is 4 ounces or 113 grams. So that's going to be 8 ounces or 223 grams of salted butter. Okay? And on the American sticks of butter, you can see that they got it listed that 8 tablespoons makes up a stick, and that you get a breakdown that 4 tablespoons is a 1/4 cup, and then you got a 1/3 cup. So it's telling you all these nice little things. That's what I love about American butter. But we're going to use these 2 sticks or 8 ounces of butter. Okay, to our salted room temperature butter, I got some ranch dressing powder. It's 1 teaspoon. Next, we're going to use Cavender's all-purpose Greek seasoning. So 1 teaspoon of Cavender's going in. This right here is a teaspoon of garlic going in. This right here is 1 tablespoon of onion powder going in. Because the Cavender's already has black pepper in it, I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's it. That's our seasoning blend. Now we're going to mix this up. The granulated garlic, the onion powder, the Cavender's, the cayenne, the ranch powder. We're going to mix all that up. The butter's already salted, so we don't have to worry about anything because you already got salt from the Cavender's, you got salt from the ranch powder, you got salt from the butter. And then now we got the pepper in there. So that red pepper, cayenne pepper, it kind of brings flavors to the front of the mouth, whereas the black pepper brings flavor to the back of the mouth. And so it kind of rounds out the tasting of things. Alright, so what's going to happen, we're fixing to roll this up. American butter has more milk fat, or not milk fat, but milk product in it. It's got a lower milk fat than European, British butter, Irish butter, French butter, anything of that nature. So that means that all these seasonings will be hydrating over time. So by doing this the night before, we can actually allow that butter to get infused with more flavor. Right now it's got a good flavor. It's salty, got a little bit of heat on the back end, not too much. All those seasonings are playing along very nicely. It's very powerful, but it's got to season a whole bird. So this is going to be spread out over a whole bird as we put this under the skin. And of course we already have the bird being soaked in our brine. So we're going to take this, put this in some parchment paper, make a roll. I'll show you how that's kind of done. And then we'll meet back tomorrow and do the bird. Alright, this is just a piece of parchment paper here. Okay, so we got it right now into a big pile. Now I've got it rolled over the bottom, and I'm just going to kind of roll it around, roll it up. Now what I'm going to do is just kind of take the ends and wrap them up tight so it's almost like a Tootsie Roll or some type of rolled candy. There you go. Rolled up like a little thing of candy. Twist one end one way, twist the other end another way, and that allows you to provide torque so that you squeeze it and get it formed like you need to. This will go into the refrigerator, and like I said, it'll sit overnight, and those flavors will develop overnight and only get better. So last night, probably about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, I checked on the bird. It was still mostly frozen. I put it in about 6 o'clock at night. So that kind of lets you know this water's still cold, 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 even though that there's fat now. There's a fat top on it. But the bird, I spun it around, took out the giblet bag. I couldn't take out the neck yet because it was so frozen. Tried to open up a little bit better. Spun it around. You can see the bird is just sunk down into the water. That's letting you know that the brine has finally started taking hold of the bird. And all it's doing is seasoning the bird so that it'll stay nice and juicy during the smoking process. Now it's time to take it out. Alright, so here's the bird in all its glory. And so what I'm going to do, because I just don't have enough room on my grill the way it's set up, or my smoker, it's a smoker grill. It's homemade. I didn't make it, I inherited it. It's something I got when my father passed away. So there's flaws with it, but it's what I got. I'm going to take this wing off, so I'm going to actually cut through here. There's a cut around here. There's a joint right in here. Cut around. I'm going to take this backbone out here, and when I take this backbone out, then that's going to allow me to get some air into the cavity so that the breast can be cooked. Spin over. What I'll do is I'll cut around here. Take this leg off. I'll take this little plastic piece off. That will expose just the breast here. So I'm going to have 5 pieces on the smoker. The breast is going to cook a lot faster than the dark meat, so this will allow hopefully to have most of the the turkey cooking at about the same time, since it's not all one giant piece. That's the other thing. If you can take it where it's not one giant piece, that does help out tremendously. So I'm going to get this cut up. I'll be back in a minute. One of the things I'm probably going to do is on this portion here, this right here is both the thigh and the leg, and there's a joint right there. When you bend the leg, you can feel it and you cut into it, and then that will allow me to separate leg from the thigh. So I may actually get 7 pieces. I may do that. I'll make a decision later on, let you know. I just wanted to show you something about butchering a bird. So you see how there's a little seam that runs, that if you take the leg and pull it, well, that's what I'm doing here. I'm taking the leg and pulling it and cutting it, and it just has a nice little separation right there. Everybody worries so much about butchering a animal, but it really isn't that hard. Here it is all cut up. I did cut the thighs from the legs, and then what I did is I also made sure to remove any feathers, and I took my fingers and separated the flesh from the skin so that we can now add our compound butter. This right here is our compound butter, so I'm going to cut this up into slices, probably about, I don't know, at least 10 slices, so that the breast gets enough butter, and the smaller pieces like the leg and all that, they at least get a pat of butter. Tell me that don't look good right there. I've already tried a little piece of it. Man, does it have a ton of flavor. If you aren't brining your birds and then putting compound butter under the skin, what are you doing? Okay, so you can actually see the butter under the skin, and I've just broke up the pats and just kind of put in there. The wings are a little bit more difficult to work with. There's not that much meat to begin with. I don't put a lot of butter with my thighs because really they're already pretty flavorful. It's the breast that matters the most, but I try to give everything a little bit of love so it all tastes good. And now what I'm going to do is put up the backbone and the neck and the giblets, and I'll probably make something with that in another episode. And then I'm going to pat all this dry, salt and pepper it. That's probably not much salt, just a little bit of salt to make the bark stick. A little bit of pepper, not much black pepper. Very light seasoning because most of the flavoring is in the butter and in the brine. So then I'm going to go ahead and start the fire. And just so you can see, that's the backbone and the neck. The neck had ice on it when I took it out, so that water was cold. So all the people freaking out saying, "Oh my God, that ain't the proper way to defrost turkey." Well, I wasn't defrosting turkey, I was brining a turkey, and the brine prohibited bacteria growth, or at least limited it. And then after doing that, it stayed cold. It stayed well below the normal temperatures for bacterial growth, which is 40 degrees, so it was below 40 degrees. And so now I'm putting this up. Gonna make another dish with this later. You'll see that maybe in another future episode, and try to get this bird onto the pit. Alright, so this is the smoker grill that I inherited when my father passed away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay some pre-burnt coals and things of that nature on that side. Then I'm going to do one on this side. And then I've got some layered in the pit as well. This right here is nothing more than some used cooking oil that I've soaked into some paper towels and then put in the microwave for a few seconds. I place the paper towels on the coals, or the bottom lower layer of coals. After layering some coals, not many, this just lump hardwood charcoal. After layering that, a thin layer on top, I'm going to set on fire. This is just to get those coals going so I can add more to the top. Now there's a ton of ways you can set a fire. That's just how I'm doing it today. I'm just playing around with different ways. So you'll see the smolder and everything. That's fine. You'll see it catch up on fire. So we got plenty of heat. And I'm just kind of letting this build a little slower than what I normally do. The fire pit does a much better job of getting started than the grill part does. I will say that. Alrighty, so what I did is I scraped off the grill. I put just about 5 or 6 hot coals in there, just scattered out, and put a few lump charcoal on top that's not cooked, just to kind of, or not heated up, so that it'll get heated up. All this is now nice and heat. It's real hot on one side, mildly hot here. Got a good cold spot here for the breast. I'm put some thighs, legs, all that around here, and get them cooked. Have the wings over here so they don't get cooked as much, because white meat cooks faster. I'm now going to put a piece of wood. Well, actually, I'm going to season up the meat next. Alright, that's seasoned up on the grill. Now I'm putting some wood into the pit here. And then we're going to just close her up. Alright, we'll see you in a couple hours. Okay, it's been rocking at a steady 175 for about an hour. It finally went on at about 2 o'clock. And you can see all that butter is gone. It's taken a nice smoke color to it. And we're just going to let this smoke away. My wife, she's needing her car service. I'm going to go get the oil changed real quick. I'll be back. She's at the house, so if something happens, I got her checking in on it at least. So we'll be back in a little bit, check in on it. Alright, it's 5 o'clock. The temperature never got above 175. So what I did is I've got used my little blowtorch here to get the wood a little hotter, let some air get to it, bumped it up to where it's now cooking at just below 225 degrees, and that's going to help this bird cook along a little bit better. Alrighty, it is about 5:30 and these are looking good. Not quite done yet. Went down a little bit on the temp, but we'll get there. Alright, that's looking good. Well, here we are. Sorry about any noise. Neighbors weed eating at 8 o'clock at night. But anyway, so don't worry about these. Ignore those. That'll be for a future episode. But these are temped and ready to come off, and man, they are good. But it's 8 o'clock, which means we're not going to eat any tonight. So I'll put these up, heat them up in the oven tomorrow. All they're going to do is get better. And then we'll have them tomorrow night for supper. So, see you then. Alrighty guys, this is my plate. I've got the breast meat with some roasted vegetables. The wife, my goddaughter, asked for me to make stuffing. That's not normally what I would fix with this, but that's what they wanted. Made a quick gravy using the drippings. This turkey has not been in a crutch, meaning I have not wrapped it up in tin foil, and I have not wrapped it up in butcher paper with any type of butter or fat or anything of that nature. It is just as juicy as it can be. And I've got it a little bit cooler than what you normally see on YouTube, because all those juices that pour out, that just makes it dry. So serve your food at a little bit lower temperature, and that way it stays nice and juicy. If you cut it at 170 degrees, 180 degrees, some of them go even higher on YouTube, and you cut it to get those juices pouring out. Yeah, it'll look great on video, but it's not going to stay juicy for long. This is succulent. You can just see all that moisture there. That's what I'm trying to get at there. Then this is the wife's meal. She wants to have thighs, so that's cut up thigh. Of course, it looks awesome to me. I've got the gravy that I made and all that, same as the other. So we're going to go eat. I'm going to say the blessing, eat, and then afterwards I'll do a rundown of what she thinks, what I think, and all that. I may even do that right after we make sandwiches, because one of the best things about having turkey is leftovers and having leftover sandwiches. So I may do that. I may do the wrap up after sandwiches. We'll find out. One good thing about making turkey is that there's always leftovers, and that means sandwiches. For Tasha's sandwich, we're going to do some dark meat on 12 grain bread with mayonnaise. Gonna put a slice of cheese, lettuce, and tomato. There we go there. Me, I prefer just mayonnaise and meat on bread. Not a bad little sandwich for a work week's, snack. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. So what it was is that the grocery store reduced the price of the frozen turkeys down to 99 cents a pound. So it was cheaper than any other protein out there. I mean, you can't even get hot dogs for 99 cents a pound anymore. So I said, you know what? I grew up, my family, we ate turkey not just at Thanksgiving. And turkey was something that, it was just another protein. We didn't have it a lot, but we had it a fairly good amount. Now, stores didn't always carry turkey, and when they did, it was always grossly expensive. So to find it today in these times for 99 cents a pound was phenomenal to me. My wife and my goddaughter had a hard time, and I think a lot of the viewers will have a hard time with disassociating turkey with Thanksgiving. That's something that most Americans, we only eat a whole turkey at Thanksgiving, but I really wanted you to see that it is a versatile protein and it makes for some excellent barbecue. So if you find some on sale, get some, cook it. Now I'm going to take what's left over with this, and I'm going to mix it with some pork and some beef. I may do a burgoo, and so I'll probably do a burgoo in the future. So look forward to that one. Burgoo is a type of Kentucky stew. It is a stew for the masses. And since I'm a Kentucky colonel, I thought that'd be really cool to do. Now, as far as the smoked turkey, I like white bread when doing a sandwich. I didn't have white bread. I would say eat white bread with a turkey sandwich. The bread that I was using wasn't the best in the world for a turkey sandwich. So that's one thing. Now, I think a baked turkey tastes better on a turkey sandwich, but if you like a smoked flavor on your sandwich, that was a good sandwich. But just as barbecue alone, now my wife and my goddaughter wanted stuffing and I can't eat stuffing, or really I don't eat stuffing all. I eat dressing. I eat cornbread dressing. But they wanted stuffing, and so I made that, and I always have gravy with my dressing. So I kind of harken back to the Thanksgiving thing. I didn't want to, but they wanted it. It tasted good. I mean, it always tastes good. That's the reason why we have it Thanksgiving. But I'm more into traditional fare. Had I done it as a traditional barbecue fare, not told them I was cooking turkey and not asked for their input, I think it would have felt more like barbecue. So corn on the cob, maybe some peas, Something like, I'm talking about field peas, not like English peas. I'm talking southern here. Black-eyed peas, something like that. That might would have helped. But yeah, give this a try though. It was really, really good. The brining helps a lot. The butter helps a lot. And if you do try it, let me know. With that, I'll see you again next time, guys. Bye.